Good time tonight. I hope you just time warped your little bums off. The party continues with DJ Spoonie's Good Groove up next. This was a Moses production for BBC Radio 2. I'd like to thank my fabulous, freakishly, frighteningly crazy producers Steve Softly and Mickey Curling. Thank you. See you next week. This is Radio 2 on the BBC Sounds app on your smart speaker and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 9 o'clock. This is Mike Powell. A man who broke into the Californian home of the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and attacked her husband is reported to have shouted, "Where's Nancy?" The politician was in Washington, D.C. at the time. A 42-year-old man has been charged with attempted murder. Paul Pelosi, who's 82, is being treated in hospital and is expected to make a full recovery. The chief of the San Francisco Police Department, Bill Scott, said a hammer was used during the attack.
Our officers observed Mr. Pelosi and the suspect both holding a hammer. The suspect pulled the hammer away from Mr. Pelosi and violently assaulted him with it. Our officers immediately tackled the suspect, disarmed him, took him into custody, requested emergency backup, and rendered medical aid.
The rock and roll musician Jerry Lee Lewis, whose hits included Great Balls of Fire, has died at the age of 87. He was known for his wild performance and his scandalous personal life. His publicist said he was an icon from the birth of rock and roll. Elon Musk says Twitter will have a content moderation panel to review whether people who have been banned from the site will be reinstated. He said the group would contain people from widely diverse viewpoints. Rasmus Nielsen, who's from the Reuters Institute for the Study of Journalism, says Mr. Musk, who has just completed his buyout of Twitter, is trying to change how free speech works online.
His conception of free speech seems to be a world in which anyone can say anything they want as long as it's legal on Twitter. And that is a very different world from the world that social media platforms have been working towards, however imperfectly in recent years, where they have tried to reduce the amount of abuse and harassment that in particular women, people of color and other minorities are subject to online.
Police investigating the murder of Olivia Pratt-Corbell have arrested a man on suspicion of assisting an offender. The 9-year-old was shot dead by a gunman who had entered her family home in Liverpool in August. A 34-year-old man has been charged with her murder. The latest figures suggest the number of coronavirus cases in the UK is stable, but health experts are warning that rising flu infections could put more pressure on the NHS this winter. The Office for National Statistics says just over 2 million people had COVID in the week up to the 17th of October. Dr. Connell Watson, who's an epidemiologist at the UK Health Security Agency, says the return of seasonal viruses is creating fresh challenges for the NHS.
We're seeing flu rising in a number of indicators. We're seeing it in our virological detections. We're seeing it in our hospital activity. There'll be many preschoolers who are eligible for a flu vaccine but have never seen